Okay, welcome back. Today we're going to unpack a little bit about why grief makes even our highest performers, you and me, feel off our game, like our brain is somewhere else. And before I do that, I want you to hit subscribe and drop a comment. Let's do something. Let's do something silly today. I'm wearing a plain black shirt. I wonder what color shirt you're wearing, and we'll see in the comments which color shirt or outfit wins. Just to be something silly, because talking about grief can get real heavy real fast. So let's just be a little silly for a moment. Okay, let's hop in. We're leading a meeting. Our team is in front of us. And we're talking about something that we've talked about a gazillion times before, a project that's coming up, just giving an update on it. And then suddenly the next thought is just not there. Our mind goes completely blank. And this is something we've talked about a gazillion times. Um, and most of us take that moment and internalize it. Oh my gosh, been there. Internalize it, and we say, I must be losing my edge. Um, I must be failing. Or, oh, now the people that I lead aren't going to think very highly of me anymore. I think, especially as a woman, we internalize these things really, really fast. So, how about this? Recognize that grief is normal. Can you do that in that moment? I know it's really hard. So that instead of internalizing it, we externalize it just a little bit. We say, okay, this is normal. And a research backed response to emotional trauma is simply to give it space, to acknowledge it, to say it's real. I promise. It seems counterintuitive, to acknowledge, even in yourself, that grief is real and this is a normal response. But it works, and this is what science tells us. And so, um, grief temporarily restricts our working memory. That's this memory right here, and executive function and executive control. And so here is something to try to implement. And I say try because I, like you, uh, would never like to try this. And yet, I know from working with hundreds of grieving people that this is the way to move forward. So, how about this? Book your schedule like you normally do. But early on in grief, take 3 days and make your schedule 60%. I know that sounds crazy. Okay. Um, and then as you progress, maybe book 2 days at 60%. And then maybe book 1 day. You're not going to be like this forever. This is just temporary. But having that space gives your brain the space and the ability to process the emotions, to process the loss, as well as focus really, really intently on the projects that you have at work. And so doing this will give your brain what it needs in order to both process grief, and process loss, which is a super intense process in the brain, um, and also give you space to do what you do best, which is run your department, run your company. And so it's giving us space to do both and to also just be really honest with ourselves. Okay, so I have an example. So I have a client who, during grief, she just felt like her brain, like she actually went to her psychiatrist and was like, do I have ADHD? Like she just felt scattered. And I know you know how that feels. You just feel scattered. And her psychiatrist was like, I don't think that's what it is. And so she came back to me and she was like, what do I do? And I said, how about this? One thing that works for me is I schedule deep dive times. And what that means, it's a 3 hour chunk 9 to 12. 'Cause morning's my best time. You can do it at any time of day. 9 to 12, that is when I take something that I really want to deep dive on, and really dig into it. So I don't check my emails. I don't do all the other little tasks. I do those before or after. Um, and so this allows you to create space for your brain to work and do that highly, highly executive functioning frontal brain stuff. And it also creates space for your brain to relax, to do those things that aren't high cognitive function things. Which, yeah. So, do you think you can try that? Let me know if you're willing to even try it one day this week. Um, that would be amazing. So, comment permission granted if you're going to give yourself some of that space this week. Uh, so, our sharpness isn't gone when we grieve. It's simply recalibrating. And so I invite you to work your schedule so that you can recalibrate, give your body and brain what it needs, and then jump back into being your badass self that I know you are. Okay. Have a wonderful day. I will see you next time.